Welcome to the 2014 Gold Derby TV Awards ceremony. I'm Chris Beecham, Daniel Montgomery, one of our senior editors here, our contributing editor, Riley Chow. Riley's not going to be talking too much. He's got all of our graphics ready to go with the nominees and the winners, but we might get some comments here and there. And we'll try to fill you in on how this fits in over the history of the Gold Derby TV Awards. I think, they're not as prestigious as the Emmys in the industry, but the people that vote for these, which is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, really watch a lot of television. So when you get an award from us, it's from people that it's not just by rote, and it's not just to repeat it, maybe like some other awards. It's because our people, hundreds of people, feel like you were the best of this year. So we've got a whole bunch of categories. I'm going to kick things off with two variety categories. And the first of those is Variety Series. And the nominees for Variety Series are The Colbert Report, The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, Inside Amy Schumer, Jimmy Kimmel Live, Saturday Night Live, and The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. And our winner for Variety Series this year is, in its first year, The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. And moving along, we'll talk about that one in just a moment. The nominees for Variety Performer. Now, we do Variety Performer here, and I know the Emmys don't do that anymore, but we feel it's important. So all the people you see that are up for like comedy guest actor and supporting actor at the Emmys, we put them all in the pool here for Variety Performer. So it could be a mixture of regular series performers as well as one-time only performers. And the nominees there are Ellen DeGeneres for the 86th Annual Academy Awards, Jimmy Fallon for The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, Tina Fey and Amy Poehler for hosting the Golden Globe Awards, Neil Patrick Harris hosting the Tony Awards, Kate McKinnon for Saturday Night Live, and Amy Schumer for Inside Amy Schumer. And the winner of Variety Performer this year is a repeat of last year, and that is Amy Poehler and Tina Fey for the Golden Globe Awards. Well, Daniel, I forgot to click on my face a moment ago. That's why you didn't see me. Daniel, tell us about these two categories and where they fit into the history of the awards.
Well, I mean, in both cases, it's sort of a repeat. This is the first win for The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, but Jimmy Fallon, he won for Late Night 2 years ago, I believe, 2012. And another interesting thing to note is that Conan O'Brien's Tonight Show won in 2010. So every Tonight Show except for Jay Leno over the history of the Gold Derby Awards has been represented in this category. And Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, I mean, really, what can you say? They've both won so many Gold Derby TV awards at this point. Amy Poehler is the 3-time defending champion for Comedy Actress going into this year. We'll, of course, announce later whether or not she wins that again. So, yeah, they're just, put them together, and it's hard to beat them.
Well, why don't you take over and do the next two?
All right. Coming up next, we've got the nominees for Best Animated Series. And those nominees are Adventure Time, Archer, Bob's Burgers, Family Guy, The Simpsons, and South Park. And the award for Best Animated Series goes to Archer. And I'll move on next to the nominees for Best Reality Program. The nominees for that are The Amazing Race, Cosmos, Hollywood Game Night, RuPaul's Drag Race, Survivor, and The Voice. And the award for Best Reality Program goes to Cosmos.
And tell us more about, let me go back to that. There we go. Tell us more about those two categories.
Well, Archer, that's the second win in a row for Archer. This category, we haven't had it every year of the Gold Derby TV Awards, but that award has only been won by 3 shows. Archer the last 2 years in a row. The Simpsons won it twice, and I think Family Guy is still way out front. It has won it 4 times. So it's a very exclusive club to break into for animated series. Reality program is interesting. Cosmos, of course, is very unconventional for a reality program winner. I believe The Voice won it last year. Have that information right in front of you. But of course, was a 13-episode science series hosted by Neil deGrasse Tyson, and it's one of my favorite shows of the last season. So it's probably one of my favorite wins of these awards.
And we, on the reality, because we don't want to have tons of categories, really anything that's either structured reality, unstructured, reality competition, documentary, anything that deals in real stuff, we'll allow it into that category, as long as it's a series and not just a special. Okay, let's move on to movie and mini-series acting categories. And the nominees for movie mini supporting actor are, and several of these are from The Normal Heart, by the way, Matt Bomer for The Normal Heart, Martin Freeman for Sherlock, Colin Hanks and Bob Odenkirk for Fargo, and Joe Mantello and Jim Parsons for The Normal Heart. And the winner for movie mini supporting actor is Matt Bomer from The Normal Heart. Expected to probably go to him for the Emmys next week as well. And movie mini supporting actress, the nominees, I'm going to give you sort of by category, because the first 3 are all from American Horror Story Coven, and they are Angela Bassett, Kathy Bates, and Frances Conroy. We have Audra McDonald from The Sound of Music. We have Julia Roberts from The Normal Heart, and Allison Tolman from Fargo. And our winner for movie mini supporting actress is Allison Tolman from Fargo. Last year's winners in this category were these categories are both American Horror Story people, and that was Zachary Quinto and Sarah Paulson. What do you think about those, Daniel?
Yeah, I mean, Matt Bomer's probably no surprise. He's been sweeping up everything that hasn't been nailed down, since this performance came out. Tolman is interesting. Of course, that looks like a potentially close Emmy race between her and Julia Roberts. I'm not entirely surprised our users went with Tolman, but it'll be interesting to see if a relative unknown newcomer like her can actually take down an A-list Oscar winner with the Emmys, which is unusual. Would be unusual to happen. So,
several A-list Oscar winners. You'd have to beat Julia Roberts and Ellen Burstyn.
So that would definitely be something to put on her resume.
The next movie and mini acting categories.
All right. The nominees for Best Movie Miniseries Actor are Paul Adelstein for Return to Zero, Benedict Cumberbatch for Sherlock: His Last Vow, Martin Freeman for Fargo, Mark Ruffalo for The Normal Heart, David Tennant for Broadchurch, and Billy Bob Thornton for Fargo. And the award for movie miniseries actor goes to Mark Ruffalo for The Normal Heart.
Wow.
The nominees?
I think that's major for I never heard tons of great things about Mark Ruffalo in our forums, at least.
Yeah, that one came as a surprise to me as well. I really thought it would go to probably Martin Freeman or Billy Bob Thornton. So it was kind of surprising to see Mark Ruffalo really, take that away. It'll be interesting to see if that repeats at the Emmys. But moving on to movie miniseries actress, we've got nominees are mostly the Emmy nominees. They are Helena Bonham Carter for Burton and Taylor, Olivia Colman for Broadchurch, Minnie Driver for Return to Zero, Jessica Lange for American Horror Story Coven, Sarah Paulson also for American Horror Story Coven, and Cicely Tyson in The Trip to Bountiful. And the award goes in American Horror Story Coven.
I know one person in our forums that'll love that. Our Jessica Lange fan that posts so many threads about Jessica Lange that I have. She or he keeps me busy quite a bit deleting threads. So anyway, why don't you any comments there? Last year's winners there were Elizabeth Moss and Michael Douglas.
Yeah, the comment really is just to point out that this is Jessica Lange's second win for American Horror Story. She didn't win last year, as you mentioned. Elizabeth Moss won this category last year, but she did win Supporting Actress for the first season of American Horror Story 2 years ago.
We'll finish up.
Moving on to Best Movie or Miniseries, the nominees are American Horror Story Coven, Broadchurch, Fargo, The Normal Heart, Return to Zero, and Sherlock. And the Gold Derby TV Award for Best Movie or Miniseries goes to Fargo.
Another very interesting choice there. It was an extremely strong group of winners. I mean, of nominees.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I think most of us, at least the general consensus is that Fargo and The Normal Heart are pretty safe bets for the Emmys in their respective categories, movie and miniseries. So it's sort of interesting, to consider if those categories at the Emmys were still consolidated, which one might have won. And if our users are any indication, it looks like it might have been Fargo.
If that had happened, and that's been the case for so many years in a row with the combined, what do you think would have won there at the Emmys next Monday? Assuming it was one or the other, Fargo or Normal.
Yeah, I would guess actually Normal Heart. The subject matter, the history of things like Angels in America sweeping. The fact that it got so many nominations, even though it's sort of a low-key kind of drama, the technical extravaganzas that we expect to get lots of nominations. So I give the very slight edge to The Normal Heart if those categories were consolidated at the Emmys.
I think so too. Fargo is just pure entertainment, and Normal Heart has such a message. All right, let's move on to drama categories. We'll start out with the guest categories, which the Emmys have, of course, already presented, and we're now presenting. So let's look through Drama Guest Actor, and the 6 nominees there are Beau Bridges for Masters of Sex, Dan Bucatinsky for Scandal, Nathan Lane for The Good Wife, Robert Morse for Mad Men, Joe Morton from Scandal, who won last weekend, and Pedro Pascal from Game of Thrones. And we do have a little bit of a surprise here. The only one out of that group that's not been nominated for an Emmy before, Pedro Pascal from Game of Thrones, is our winner. So I know the game people will be thrilled. Last year we also had a big surprise in that category. James Wolk from Mad Men was not even submitted on the Emmy ballot, and he won for our Gold Derby Awards. And Drama Guest Actress, we have Gillian Anderson from Hannibal, Allison Janney, Masters of Sex, last weekend's winner, Kate Mara from House of Cards, Julianne Nicholson from Masters of Sex, Carrie Preston from The Good Wife, and Diana Rigg from Game of Thrones, who won with us last year in this category. But this year's winner is just like the Emmys, it's Allison Janney. What did you think about those, Daniel?
Interesting both. Pedro Pascal didn't really surprise me all that much, just because, Game of Thrones is such a fan-devoted kind of show, and I think he really could have gotten a nomination at the Emmys. I don't know how far down he might have finished on the ballot. I wouldn't be surprised if he finished somewhere in the top 10 for the Emmys going into those final nominees. More interesting, though, is I think it'll be interesting to note that this is actually Allison Janney's first Gold Derby TV award, which seems kind of unlikely given how many Emmys she won for The West Wing. But our Gold Derby TV award started in 2004, and The West Wing was already sort of in its post-Sorkin years, so it's sort of understandable that we caught the Allison Janney wave a little late there. She's previously been nominated for The West Wing and also for her guest role in the last season of Lost. So this is the first win for Allison Janney.
And this is 11 years, so that's pretty good. And by the way, everybody, the last 2 or 3 years, we didn't just make announcements like we are now, and before that, we were just posting a list and to a press release basically. We actually, Rob in Australia makes up certificates. We have set certificates. He types all of these up. We send them as high definition certificates to each of the winners. And we get a lot of response back from the PR people, the networks. Last year, I got at least 3 or 4 emails right from the celebrities. I remember Jessica Walter last year sent me an email thanking us for the award. So these people do get these certificates. And I remember last year we sent one to the wrong address, and I don't remember who it was, the wrong person. And like 2 days later, hey, so-and-so hasn't gotten her certificate, and she was wondering if you could send it on. So they do pay attention to this. A lot of them do. We'll let you go next and continue our drama acting awards, Daniel.
All right. For Best Supporting Actor in a Drama Series, the nominees are Josh Charles for The Good Wife, Charles Dance for Game of Thrones, Peter Dinklage for Game of Thrones, Dean Norris for Breaking Bad, Aaron Paul for Breaking Bad, and Peter Sarsgaard for The Killing. And the award goes to Aaron Paul for Breaking Bad. Before I talk about
that, was the winner last year.
Oh yeah, and Aaron Paul is actually a 3-time winner now. I think he now holds the record. He was tied with Michael Emerson, who won twice for Lost. And so now Aaron Paul stands alone as the top supporting actor winner. And we'll see if that's the case also at the Emmys. If he wins his 3rd Emmy there, he'll be the first man ever to win supporting 3 times, so drama supporting. So moving on to Best Drama Supporting Actress, we've got the nominees are Christine Baranski for The Good Wife, Emilia Clarke for Game of Thrones, Anna Gunn for Breaking Bad, Lena Headey for Game of Thrones, Melissa McBride for The Walking Dead, and Bellamy Young for Scandal. And the award there is also another repeat winner. It's Anna Gunn, Breaking Bad. This is her 2nd consecutive win. She won last year.
And you know that category, I saw several people in our forums thread the last few weeks. That might have been one of the most interesting categories, just in terms of fan favorites. When you throw in a Bellamy Young and a Melissa McBride and Emilia Clarke, all that didn't have nominations this year at the Emmys, and then some that do. I think people really love that category, and I saw several people wringing their hands over, I don't know what to do here. But we went with a repeat there with Anna Gunn.
Yeah, that category was an embarrassment of riches. I loved especially Melissa McBride's performance this past season on The Walking Dead, and I was just thrilled that she got in. The Walking Dead hasn't had the biggest impact in addition to the Emmys on the Gold Derby TV Awards. It hasn't had the biggest impact, so I was really glad to see her singled out there.
And you had to be thrilled just to see Peter Sarsgaard on the nominee list.
Absolutely, I was. That was sort of a surprise. I didn't realize anyone was still paying attention to The Killing. I do wish they had also nominated Marie. She had a great season in season 3, but seeing Peter Sarsgaard get in there was just fantastic.
Well, why don't you continue on for us and present the 2 lead acting races for drama?
All right. The nominees for Best Actor in a Drama Series are Bryan Cranston for Breaking Bad, Jon Hamm for Mad Men, Woody Harrelson for True Detective, Matthew McConaughey for True Detective, Matthew Rhys for The Americans, and Kevin Spacey for House of Cards. And the winner there, and we have a little bit of history being made here, it's Bryan Cranston for Breaking Bad. He already held the record for the most wins in this category with 3. He won his 3rd last year. This is his 4th, so he is way ahead. And again, he could tie the record for the most drama actor wins at the Emmys with 4. on Monday.
Okay.
And for Best Drama Actress, the nominees are Claire Danes, Homeland; Vera Farmiga, Bates Motel; Juliana Margulies, The Good Wife; Tatiana Maslany, Orphan Black; Elizabeth Moss, Mad Men; and Robin Wright, House of Cards. And the winner is, which I'm sure is going to make a lot of people happy, Tatiana Maslany for Orphan Black.
That will make a lot of people happy, especially Ralph, who I see is in our chat room. Ralph, I believe, voted
Tatiana,
180 times in that particular category.
and Tatiana,
you know, it was a surprise to us last year. She did not win this category last year, even coming off all the heat of that summer and the Critics' Choice and not getting in at the Emmys. You know, because we're a little bit delayed. You know, we're usually a few days behind. Last year, we all thought for sure, or not behind, but in that period, sometimes people vote for folks. Like James Walk last year, I think, might have won with us because they were trying to make up for the fact that the Emmys, you know, that Mad Men didn't put him on the ballot. He had no chance. Sometimes that happens, and we all thought she might win last year with us, but it was Claire Danes.
Yeah, and it might be because last year she was also up for Best Breakthrough Performance of the Year, so maybe there wasn't as much urgency to give her this one. She did win Breakthrough Performance last year, so this is her second Gold Derby TV award.
Well, let's look at the final two categories in drama, and the first one is Drama Episode of the Year, and the first two episodes are from Breaking Bad, and that is Felina and Ozymandias. I hope that's said right. Game of Thrones has two episodes, The Lion and the Rose, and The Watchers on the Wall. The Good Wife, Hitting the Fan, and Mad Men season finale, Waterloo. And I don't think this is going to disappoint people nor surprise people that the winner is Breaking Bad, Ozymandias. Has Breaking Bad won this category before, Daniel?
I don't think it has. I think Game of Thrones has had kind of a lock on this for a while. I'd have to go back and check. I believe this is the first win for Breaking Bad.
Okay. And the final drama category of this year is Drama Series, obviously. And the nominees there are Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, The Good Wife, House of Cards, Mad Men, and True Detective. And again, with our types of fans and what all we hear in the forums, I don't think it was a big surprise to see Breaking Bad as our winner this year. How many times has it won here, Daniel?
This is the third win for Breaking Bad, I believe third in a row, which is tied now for the most wins for Best Drama Series at our awards. Mad Men also won 3 times, and Lost also won 3 times.
It's one of the rare shows at the Emmys as well as us that steamrolled later on. Most shows come out strong, and as their quality declines over the number of years, the number of seasons, they also decline in all kinds of award shows. But Breaking Bad started so small and so just didn't have a lot of viewers, didn't have a lot of attention. It's gained steam every single year at all awards.
Yeah,
all right, Daniel.
Yeah.
Let's move along to comedy. These are our last awards of the evening and of 2014, and you get us started on the guest acting categories.
All right, the nominees for Best Guest Actor in a Comedy Series are James Earl Jones for The Big Bang Theory, Nathan Lane for Modern Family, Christopher Maloney for Veep, Bob Newhart for The Big Bang Theory, Andrew Rannells for Girls, and Pablo Schreiber for Orange is the New Black. And the winner there sort of took me by surprise. I didn't expect as much support for him. Our winner is Pablo Schreiber for Orange is the New Black.
And you interviewed him a few weeks ago.
I did, before the nominations came out, and unfortunately he wasn't nominated for an Emmy. But this is really more important because our users probably watch more television than the Emmy voters. So take that take that Jimmy Fallon, who won the Emmy last weekend.
And I'm sure your interview helped.
Absolutely. You got to get that Montgomery bump.
Bob Newhart won this category last year. What about Guest Actress?
All right, the nominees for Guest Actress in a Comedy Series are Uzo Aduba, Orange is the New Black, who just won the Emmy; Sarah Baker, Louie; Ellen Burstyn, Louie; Laverne Cox for Orange is the New Black; Jane Krakowski for Modern Family; and Taryn Manning for Orange is the New Black. And the award there goes to, and this was less surprising, the winner is Uzo Aduba for Orange is the New Black, so she now has a Gold Derby Award to match her Emmy.
Wow, and she should be presenting on the Emmys, although they haven't announced it yet. All the guest star winners from last weekend get at least invited to present, so I'm sure she will be. I can't imagine why she wouldn't. And by the way, Marcus was going to join us this evening and do some of these categories, but he got a cold today. So Daniel's filling in on some of those. So Daniel, keep going along and give us the supporting actor comedy, which are guaranteed to have new winners because last year Arrested Development swept these two categories with Will Arnett and Jessica Walter, and they're not back this year.
All right, the nominees for Best Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series are Andre Braugher for Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Ty Burrell for Modern Family, Adam Driver for Girls, Jesse Tyler Ferguson for Modern Family, Tony Hale for Veep, and Nick Offerman for Parks and Recreation. And, Chris, you mentioned Arrested Development sweeping these awards last year, and it sort of does it again because this is Tony Hale for Veep, the winner.
It's a very good win. Very good win. We'll see if he puts the certificate next to his Emmy.
And potentially between his two Emmys if he wins again on Monday. Best Comedy Supporting Actress, the nominees are Mayim Bialik for The Big Bang Theory, Julie Bowen, Modern Family, Danielle Brooks, Orange is the New Black, Anna Klumsky for Veep, Allison Janney for Mom, and Kate Mulgrew for Orange is the New Black. And the winner there is Kate Mulgrew for Orange is the New Black. She's a first-time winner at these awards, first-time nominee.
Okay. I don't think that was a big surprise at all, knowing how much our fans, our users love Orange. Okay, let's talk about lead acting in a comedy for both actor and actress. Last year, the winner for actor is not even nominated this year. That's kind of a rarity when they're eligible, but Jake Johnson won this category last year. And this year's nominees for comedy actor are Louis C.K. for Louie, Jonathan Groff for Looking, Chris Messina for The Mindy Project, Jim Parsons for The Big Bang Theory, Andy Samberg for Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and Adam Scott for Parks and Recreation. And the winner in comedy actor is Jim Parsons for The Big Bang Theory. And if he wins a fourth on Monday, he will tie the all-time record with Carol O'Connor, Michael J. Fox, and Kelsey Grammer at the Emmys for winning 4 in the comedy actor category. So that'll be very interesting to see if he can do that. And I'll move on to comedy actress, and then I'll let Daniel give you a little history on these categories. Comedy actress nominees this year are Lena Dunham for Girls, Mindy Kaling for The Mindy Project, Julia Louis-Dreyfus for Veep, Amy Poehler for Parks and Recreation, Emmy Rossum for Shameless, and Taylor Schilling for Orange is the New Black. And for a rare time, Amy Poehler does not win this category. She often does. Our winner for the first time ever in this category is Julia Louis-Dreyfus for Veep.
And I've gone back to check. Julia Louis-Dreyfus has won with us before. Her only previous win with us was for her guest role on Arrested Development. That was in 2004. Interesting about Jim Parsons, he has a chance to tie the record at the Emmys for most comedy actor wins. With this win this year, he ties our record for most wins for comedy actor. This is his third win. Steve Carell from The Office also has 3 wins. I think Steve Carell probably wish he had the same track record at the Emmys.
And the front runner for the Emmy Monday, I mean, Jim Parsons is maybe a co-front runner, but Ricky Gervais may win that thing on Monday, and he's not even nominated with us. We'll finish up the comedy categories there, Marcus. I mean, Marcus, I'm looking at his name here. Daniel, I know who you are.
Yes. You can just call me Marcus for the categories he was supposed to present.
Gotcha.
The nominees for Best Comedy Episode are Girls, Beach House, How I Met Your Mother for How Your Mother Met Me, Orange is the New Black for Can't Fix Crazy, Orange is the New Black again for I Wasn't Ready, Veep for Alicia, and Veep again for Debate. And the award goes to Orange is the New Black again for the episode Can't Fix Crazy. That was the first season finale of the first season last year.
Any surprise there?
I don't know if it's a surprise. I mean, Orange is the New Black is very well liked by our users. I suppose maybe, because pilot episodes tend to be, a good thing to rally around. It's maybe a little surprising that users went with the season finale instead of the series premiere. But yeah, not entirely surprising.
The overall series finale from 30 Rock. And finishes up on comedy series. What do we have there?
All right, the nominees for Best Comedy Series are Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Louie, Modern Family, Orange is the New Black, Parks and Recreation, and Veep. And the winner is, and this is possibly no surprise given how the night has been going, the winner is Orange is the New Black.
Been a while since a first-year show won this, right?
Yeah, and it's interesting to see Orange is the New Black win comedy series for its freshman year, the same year that Breaking Bad wins Best Drama for its final season. Sort of, the full, everything coming full circle.
Well, no matter what, next year we will have a lot of new winners on the drama side. At least there won't be repeats from this year. I think I'm going to let you go ahead and go next, and then I'll do the. I'll tell you what. I'll do the next 2 since Marcus isn't with us, and then you finish up with the last award. How about that?
All right, sounds good.
Performer of the Year. People can nominate basically anybody that they would like off of our long, long list, and that could be based on quantity of work, quality of work, whoever they thought the Performer of the Year was. And the nominees this year are Bryan Cranston. And these aren't tied to any particular show necessarily because they do a lot of other things. Martin Freeman, Allison Janney, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Tatiana Maslany, and Matthew McConaughey. And no, Matthew doesn't get credit for his film work with us, at least in these. And the winner this year for Performer of the Year is a repeat of last year, and that is Bryan Cranston. And based on his video he shot for the Academy with Julia and Aaron that we all watched yesterday, he's even more has a more diverse talent than about anybody I can tell right now in the entertainment world. Winning the Tony Award this year, his film work, he was so funny on that. If you haven't watched the Pawn Shop video that they shot about the Emmys, it is so funny. Any thoughts there, Daniel, before we move on?
Just to note that Bryan Cranston winning the second time, it's rare to have repeat winners for Performer of the Year. The only person who has repeated in this category before was Tina Fey. She won in 2008 and 2009. 9.
Okay. Well, let's move on to Breakthrough Performer of the Year. On these, we only allow in the pool of about 40 or 50 people. You can't have been nominated in this category before, and you have to make a big leap in your career over the past 12 months. So that's kind of our qualification, just to put them in the possibilities for that. And the nominees are Uzo Aduba, Laverne Cox, Pedro Pascal, Taylor Schilling, Amy Schumer, and Allison Tolman. Excellent, excellent group of nominees this year. I look at this category every year and think that our folks really narrow down so well. And some of these have won tonight. Several of them have won tonight. And now one of them is a repeat winner, and that is Allison Tolman wins our Breakthrough Performer of the Year. Tashiana Maslany won this category last year. Any thoughts there, Daniel?
Yeah, it was. I didn't know exactly how this category was going to go when the nominees first came out. It's sort of gratifying to see, for starters, so many women nominated in this category. 5 out of the 6 are women. So it's and television, I think, has become such a good medium for female roles, especially because film, increasingly these days is less and less hospitable to women sometimes. So Allison Tolman winning against that great Orange is the New Black contingent, and of course Amy Schumer and Pedro Pascal. I agree with you. This is really one of the best categories this year.
Well, we only have one award left. I've got to say it's an incredible group of nominees. Just like several of these categories we just talked about, just our folks do a stellar job of putting together these nominee pools and narrowing things down. And for Ensemble of the Year, it could be any ensemble, everything from movies and miniseries to drama series to comedy series. We'll even let you have like a variety series if it's a Saturday Night Live, or I think we even have The Daily Show because of all of its correspondents available to vote for. So you have a lot of possibilities here, and we'll let Daniel finish up with the last award of the night.
All right, the nominees for Ensemble of the Year are American Horror Story Coven, Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, The Good Wife, Orange is the New Black, and Veep. And the award for Ensemble of the Year, our final award of the night, the way the night's been going, probably not a surprise, Orange is the New Black.
So does that, you basically had sweeps wherever they could for Breaking Bad and Orange. Where does that leave the overall totals for, especially those two programs?
Well, it depends on how you count it. Officially, Orange is the New Black comes out on top with 6 wins. Breaking Bad has 5 wins, although Bryan Cranston winning Performer of the Year, you can almost count that as another win for Breaking Bad. So it's more or less dead even. But yeah, it was 6 and 5, and no other show had more than 2.
Riley, now that we've done all your graphics, do you have anything you want to add on these?
I guess I thought Jim Parsons was kind of surprising since his series wasn't up for Best Combat and he's been Louis C.K. Award. I don't know. He's pretty good at Orange and Black and Breaking Bad.
And I'm going to go to the forum threads here for a moment, and I'll ask Daniel to do the same, Riley to do the same. See if you see any good comments in there. I mean, I've been kind of reading them as they've gone along, and yeah, some of them were boring, but that doesn't mean they're not deserving. And I hate to hear that when people are in the normal threads about Emmys going, I want upsets, I want upsets. Well, those people that are expecting to win, they don't want upsets. I'm going to tell you that right now, and it means a lot to their careers and their history. So the last thing they want is an upset if they're the front runner. But you did have some, I think, that were very logical. I would have expected kind of wins, but some, I mean, yeah, Julia is winning a lot of Emmys, but it's her first time with us. So I mean, there were very interesting things along the way.
Yeah, and there's nothing especially obvious about the winners necessarily. Mark Ruffalo was a surprise. Pablo Schreiber, who hasn't had a lot of fanfare over the last year from other awards. Winning was a surprise against people like Bob Newhart. I think it was a really exciting group of winners, and I think you can spread the wealth sometimes, and that's good. But if there's a program that deserves to dominate, then let it dominate. And I think a season like Breaking Bad had certainly warranted it, and as popular as Orange is the New Black has been, with 11 nominations this year and 6 wins, I certainly can't begrudge it any of those.
Well, listen, we're going to finish up here on our Gold Derby TV Awards presentation. Let me tell you about some things that you can do, some things that are on the way. Our Oscar Prediction Center is open. Basically, everything is in there that we feel like is a decent Oscar contender. The only exception to that, if you're looking through there and going, well, why isn't this one there, or this performer, or this movie, if they don't have a distributor or a release date, we're not going to put them in there. We put so many of those in there last year, and then we had to move them back out, around October or so, that we decided this year, if just 2 simple qualifications, a distributor and a release date, and we'll put you in there. And some will get added, like the Clint Eastwood Bradley Cooper movie just now got, already had a distributor, but just got a release date last week, so we added it in immediately. So we'll keep updating that. Also, you'll see that some people are listed as lead and supporting. That's because they're so borderline, and if the studio has not told us what they're doing, we want to give you the option both ways, because we just don't know. So that's why they're listed that way. But if you only see them in one spot, chances are we have heard, like we just took Bill Murray out of supporting today, if you had him in there for St. Vincent, because we heard that the studio is going to put him in lead. So I believe he was in both categories until today. So that's one little tip-off. If you're already made your predictions and you had Bill Murray in supporting, you might want to look at that for lead as a possibility. Secondly, keep watching. Tons more articles this week. We'll probably do a couple of more slugfests as the week moves along. We will definitely have, as we have for years, a 2-hour pre-Emmy show that will be live. And on there, we will not only preview the show, but also give you final predictions. Some of the categories, we're still making changes. There's a couple I keep flip-flopping on about every other day. One of those is drama actors. So we're all doing that, so just to let you know that. And we will also have a post-show. I think we're the only place online where you can watch people talk about the ceremony that they just viewed. And I think people really enjoy that. Daniel, can you think of anything else we want to promote for this coming week?
Nothing else. I mean, we've got our reality show predictions open. We've got a new Project Runway. We've got So You Think You Can Dance this season. So there's no shortage of things to do, no matter what you're interested in here at Gold Derby.
Once we get past the Emmys, I know I've had people ask me, when will Golden Globes, when will SAG Awards prediction centers be up? We just wanted to get past the Emmys. Once we do that and we can do some post-Emmy stories, I think we'll work on that. SAG is much easier because you have the same categories as the Oscars. Golden Globes is a little more difficult because we gotta figure out internally, is this a comedy or is it a drama? And we get surprised quite often by whatever the studios ultimately ask for there. And then sometimes the Hollywood Foreign Press Committee decides, no, this is not a drama, this is a comedy, or vice versa. So, but we'll get those up probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And trying to think of anything else. Watch Tom O'Neill, our founder, on Entertainment Tonight all week. He's doing tons of interviews for them. And just keep making changes on your Emmy predictions. You can do those all the way up through probably Monday morning. And you can win $1,000 if you are the best predictor. Daniel and I can't win. Riley can't win. But you can win. Whoever the single best predictor is of all the Emmy Award winners this coming year. And last year, all of us collectively, worldwide, were horrible. There were so many surprises last year. I think the ultimate winner was like 47%, roughly. So get in there, make your changes, and thank you all for watching on our 2014 Gold Derby TV Awards. And now we will start sending messages out to the winners and get them their award certificates. So thanks for watching.